Okay, I'm going to showcase my progress on making Facebreaker work with Hollow Palm and Martial Artist Monk. Right now, you're seeing a fight against Heartbeat of Fire. I did die a couple of times because I'm dumb and I cannot do mechanics. But you will have to do the mechanics. It's not a one-button nuke, right? It doesn't feel that bad, right? It's not like a half an hour fight with the Arbiter of Fire. Still, there's things that I have to work on. Like you're saying, the single target needs work. Right now, what I'm doing is just Shattering Palm. I start with Hand of Chayola, used to apply a mark, then I build combos to put Tempest Bells on the ground and spam Shattering Palm. While, the boss is doing the animation and its thing, I break the bells from Hollow Focus with the Staggering Palm just to get the buff, right? And that's it. The only button that I'm pressing, the main damage is Shattering Palm, right? I'm not using Whirling Assault, I'm not using Falling Thunder. So far, right now I have 512 intelligence, then 152 dexterity, 153 strength. I don't have any issues, with attributes or skill gems because I'm using Astromantis. And Astromantis also allows me to put all the attribute points in the passive tree, all of them into intelligence. So it's pretty good for that. While clearing, the build feels good, especially when using Shattering Palm into a big pack of mobs. You chain trigger Crosswall and Shattering Palm explosions, so and you delete stuff. And with the help of Blasphemy and Repulsion, I'm using that combo. You can clear maps in that way quite fast. It's not the fastest, but it's okay. Now, stat-wise, this is the tooltip damage of Shattering Palm, this is the melee portion, and this is the explosion portion. I'm using these skill gems, Blindside, Elemental Armament, Burana Siege, Close Combat 2, and Embitter. For Hollow Focus, I'm also using Embitter and also Close Combat, Cooldown Recovery. You probably have seen that in other builds. For Staggering Palm, I'm using it to get Blazing Critical buff. 15% of damage is fire damage, and then Prolonged Duration. Tempest Bell. I'm using it to freeze targets more. Ancestral Call to get more than one bell. And the Custom Critical Frostwall, I'm using Energy Retention right now to have the chance to refund half of their energy costs. Sometimes I get to have Frostwalls, spawn one after the other. I was using a Spell Cascade instead of these, which was stronger, but it also costed me much more time to summon the Frostwall. It's a trade-off, right? I'm using Ancital and Chaos Magnets just to do this. To say the Frostwalls get created along a path, similar to how Stormweb works with Fissures, right? It's the same. Of course, with Spell Cascade, this turns into a big pile of Frostwall shards. My Blasphemy setup with Repulsion has Cold Exposure, Potent Exposure, and Blind. I'm using to get Blindside on my other damage skills. It's very similar to the setup you use Shattering Palm with Thunderfist. And now I will explain the why Embitter, right? So Facebreaker says that you gain an arm damage and extra fire damage per 5 intelligence, and then area of effect per 10 intelligence. That will make your Shattering Palm AoE be big. Right now it's allowing me to get the Shattering Palm explosions with just Frostwalls. I don't really... Frostwall and Repulsion and Blasphemy. I don't really need to use Eventide Petals anymore. But then, how am I getting that fire damage, turn into cold damage because, as you can see here, Shattering Palm tooltip description. Where is the fire damage? Where? It's because of Embitter. Embitter turns any source of extra damage of any kind. It could be fire damage, cold damage, physical damage, other than cold, into gain as extra cold damage. So all this extra fire damage that I'm getting from stacking intelligence with Facebreaker, it's getting turned into cold damage. Well, Embitter, you can see that damage splits. Fire damage 1485, cold damage 1070. Same here, fire damage 5084, 5400 for cold damage. Then everything turns into cold damage, which is good to be able to freeze targets not much better. I wasn't using Embitter before and I was having issues trying to freeze targets. And freezing targets, it's one of the defenses of this build. I have 9.5k energy shield. It's really big pull, but still I die. So you can see I'm at 1% XP. I die. Now there is an interaction with Hollow Focus, Hollow Resonance, and Facebreaker. Here I use Embitter, right? But you still see fire damage. And that's because Hollow Focus and Hollow Resonance, the base damage, okay, it's being taken from the base damage given by Facebreaker, the 183 to 304 that you get by breaking boss's faces. This portion of lightning damage is because this rank has flat lightning damage. Okay, Embitter cannot turn flat like damage into cold damage, into gain as cold. Doesn't work like that. It has to say extra fire damage or extra lightning damage, extra damage. And well, I am not really using the smash to smitherness. Don't be fooled by the tooltip here. Mine is usually around 32k. Thing is, smash to smitherness in your hideout, it's gonna bug. Like right now, boom, it just went down to 18k. It's bugged. But once you start hitting stuff in your maps, you're gonna see the true value. It's around 32k for me. And yeah, that is it. Right now I'm running all energy shield, so because of that my Hollow Palm is giving me a lot of crit hit chance. 83.94 for my Shattering Palm, and for the rest of the skills is around 17%. 429 crit damage bonus. I could probably get that much higher with jewels, okay, but I'm working on it. I would say my armor is pretty nice, I guess, but it's around what, 50 divines, something like that. Then helmet is not that good, I think. It's like 5, yeah, alright, 10 divines. 50, 10 divine, 60, put another 20 on the boots, I guess, because of the spirit. Number 10, around 70 divines on armor. The Facebreakers, you can just get any Facebreakers, honestly. Take them. If you get one that's corrupted with a good enchant, like something like this, with Penetrate Fire S or Cold Rays, that's fine. Doesn't really malder the sockets, because I think the best thing you can do is to just cut against Epiphany and get jewels and your gloves. I'm just saying, as a belt, Darkness Enthroned to get Spirit. This is the Spirit tag. You get what, plus 15? Kind of. Yeah, it's kind of like plus 50 or plus 40. It has to be at most at 99% increase effect of Socket Element items. You don't really want 100. You don't want 100% increase effect of Socket Element items. If you get a 99%, that's perfect. And that's it. My rings look like this: cold damage, cold damage attack, percentage cold damage. Here the same. I'm getting mana leech on this ring. Yep. I don't have really mana issues because my mana pool is so big from stacking intelligence. Now, things that I'm looking to try. I am looking to scale with evasion with Winter Owl, and I think there's one of those gems, historic, whatever they're called. I think it's the Olroth, yeah, the Olroth gem that instead of intelligence giving you mana, it gives you evasion. I'm not sure if it's flat or percentage, but there is also a way to scale evasion with intelligence. That will allow me to transition into evasion energy shield. I am not sure if I want to drop chaos inoculation. I might try to use whirling assault with fire damage. Like it's gonna be like what? Most of it fire damage. Sort of like 60-40, 70-30. And just generating power charges with repulsion, blasphemy, and then the culmination combo with alien scams. We can generate power charges in that way. I was doing it. I was trying out. It works. And then turn those power charges into endurance charges with resonance. And with all of that, use Ancestral Cry, because Ancestral Cry, it is getting more fire damage. And also Ancestral Cry does benefit from the crit hit chance from Hollow Palm. You can see 69.95%, just like my Tempest Bell. Specific mace skills do not get the crit hit chance. So you want to use quarterstaff skills or skills that requires weapons like that. Any martial weapon or an arm. Stuff like that is the best. Either that or quarterstaff. That's pretty much it. That's what I'm looking for. Maybe I transition into Whirling Assault, another Whirling Assault build, but this time, unlike just Hollow Palm, you will have RF effect because of the intelligence stacking. I could even probably make a big Whirling Assault screen wide, maybe. Who knows? And the next update that I will do is when I reach another threshold. I think this is still a low set of DPS setup, right? Getting to mid DPS, maybe. That's it.